you. And namaste, everyone. So, alignment in a yoga posture sounds like we do it every time in a yoga class. We take care of the knee in Virabhadrasana, in Warrior 2. We take care of our posture almost in every yoga class. So what is there in this session to talk about alignment? We all know the importance of alignment, isn't it? We all know the importance of alignment. It is absolutely integral to your yoga practice. Why is it that we are doing a talk on this? So, a very simple statement, a very powerful statement given by Swami Vivekananda was, if you want to learn the Vedas, come to the football ground. He says, if you want to go closer to heavens, you have to be on the football grounds. That is more important than studying Gita. I just show you his quote here. And have a look at, Shivani, please enable the screen sharing.
Yes, sir, it's done.
Ji. So, you will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita. Seriously? Football is more important than studying Gita, is what Swami Vivekananda is saying. So let us see what this alignment is all about in a yoga class. And some of you might be thinking, I'm going to talk about the body, mind, and soul alignment. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about pure alignment. Where have you heard this term alignment in your routine life? Tell me. Where in your routine life? So we can keep the session interactive. You can unmute yourself and say if there is something that you want to add to. So where do you hear these words? So Sarita is saying posture, spine alignment, and where else? Think out of a yoga class. Think out of a yoga class. And then tell me, where do you hear these words of alignment?
Office.
Building alignment, correct. And yes. Where else do you?
With office life, work life, be aligned with your goals.
Yes. Apart from body, where do you hear this term of alignment? Goals, yes. Life purpose, yes, absolutely. And car key alignment. The tires of your car go out of alignment. The building is leaning to a side. It is not well aligned. You're not aligned to the purpose of your life. So that is alignment. And in yoga posture, there is also alignment. Wheel alignment, correct. So alignment. Why is it so important to talk about alignment in the yoga class? So, alignment, what is the definition of alignment is? To be in correct relative positions. Correct relative positions. Right? Relative. So, alignment of the tire, alignment of the car wounds off if it is not well aligned. But if the alignment is correct, your team, your family, your workplace, they're all, if they're aligned to one purpose, they reach to a common goal. And that can be something I found very interesting in this image. And that is, if I divide this image in 3 parts, let's say this is the first part, and then this is the second part, and then last one is the third part. This is something that very well denotes the 3 important steps of the 8 limbs of yoga. What are those 3 steps? Pratyahar, Dharana, and Dhyan. Pratyahar, Dharana, and Dhyan. So the first part is the normal state of mind, which is running around here and there. Then comes your pratyahar, where you start aligning yourself to one particular target. And the target is probably doing yoga practice. That target can be sitting in Siddhasana for 30 minutes. Can be any small or big target, whatever you want to achieve for. Then dharana, and then the last end of that image denotes dhyan. This becomes possible when you are aligned to your idea, aligned to your purpose in life, and that alignment can be seen in everything. Where do you need alignment in life? You have already answered some of the points, but let's do this question once again. Let's throw this question again. Write the answers in the chat box, or if you want to unmute yourself, you can speak also, but only the word, not a long sentence. So tell me, where do you need alignment in your life? In your life. Maybe in your life, or maybe you can simply write down where generally people need alignment. One is relationships. Next is career. Yes.
Purpose.
Yes, Meenakshi, say it again.
Purpose of life, sir.
Purpose of life, so important for sure. Yes. Purpose of life is something that has been hampered too much, means more than needed. It has been hampered, but anyways, that is also something to look for. Health, absolutely, Dr. Radha. Yes, health. Work and home life, correct. Mind, thoughts and actions to yourself first. Yes, all of these things. Yes. And if this alignment is not there, what happens? If this alignment is not there, then what is the result?
Imbalance.
There is one result of it. Yes, imbalance for sure. There is one more thing that happens, and that is you go up, you get into the friction. So if it is not aligned, the tire will start eroding from one side or the other. If you're not aligned. So you need alignment in relationships, in health, money. Nobody has written, by the way, and everybody is running around it. Why you have not written money? Conditioned to think in a certain way. Yoga wale log money ke bare mein aisa nahi bolte, sochte nahi. It is too materialistic to think about money and the other stuff, other things. Have you ever seen a yogi in a poor state? Have you ever seen a yogi poor? No. You'll always find a yogi with abundance. Abundance of money also. और ये चीज बहुत सारे लोगों, so a lot of people think differently when it comes to the materialistic wealth. That is also given to you by the nature. You just have to receive it. Who is a yogi, by the way? What is the definition of a yogi? Write in the chat box. आप लोग unmute करते हैं तो बहुत बार आवाज मिस होती है. So you can write down in the chat box, what is your definition of a yogi? Please write it in the chat box. I want as many people to contribute as possible. Mentally content. Please write down. I'm waiting for a few answers in the chat box. Please write down. And it's all right if you don't want to write it in the group, write to me directly, personally in the chat box. Balanced in all spheres. Who is a yogi? Okay, tell me the names of a few yogis you know. That you can do at least. You can write down the names in the chat box. How many yogis do you know? Swami Vivekanand, for sure. Yes. और बताइए, बताते जाइए. Shri Aurobindo, Ramakrishna Paramahansa ji, yes. Iyengar Guruji, BKS Iyengar ji, इनको जानते हैं, ऋषि पतंजलि, योगी आदित्यनाथ, महात्मा गांधी. आप लोगों ने से वॉरेन बफेट क्यों नहीं लिखा? Why you have not written Warren Buffett's name here? You're laughing. Why you have not? Okay, Swami Shivanand, Swami Chidanand, Swami Saraswati, Dr. S.V. Karandikar. Why you have not written Dhirubhai Ambani's name here? Elon Musk, yes. Elon Musk, yes. Why you have, now you have Ratan Tata? Okay, Nidhi, thank you. Krishnamurti ji. A yogi is not the one who is sitting in the Himalayas. That fellow can be sitting in the office chair also. Yogi is not the one who wears a particular color clothes, white or orange or yellow or saffron or whatever. Yogi is the one who is united with the purpose. That's it. Who is united with the self. That, what is the definition of yoga? Yoga is to unite. Unite whom? What are the 2 points of union? Those 2 points can be any points of your choice. Somebody focused on mathematics and he decoded 0 or maybe a decimal. So he was a yogi of mathematics. Somebody has decoded the astronomy. So he is a yogi of astronomy. Somebody has probably decoded politics. So he is a yogi of politics. Somebody has decoded the share market. He is a yogi of share market, so he can be Warren Buffett or somebody like him. Somebody has decoded the spiritual path. He is a yogi on that path. So when we talk about yoga, it can be anyone either on the top of that field or on the quest of reaching there. So a yogi is somebody sitting on the top. How do you identify yogi? That fellow will be sitting on the top of some vertical of that field. That fellow might be a good mechanic of a car who can listen to the different sounds of the engine and tell you that this sound is of carburetor, this sound is of spark plug, this sound is of the fan belt, and this sound is of a loss of lubrication in the engine. That fellow is a yogi of that particular field. And what do you think would be the level of that individual? Do you think that fellow will be having anything lacking in his life as far as the materialistic things are concerned? So somebody who is a good mechanical engineer, good mechanic of a car, you will take your car to that mechanic every time because you know that this fellow understands the sounds of the car. So he's a good car mechanic. And he'll have a line of people who are there outside his garage waiting for him to come to their car and tell them the diagnosis of that car. So he is a yogi of that field and he is bound to have a lot of clients. He's bound to be rich. He's bound to have materialistic gains out of whatever he's focusing on. So a yogi can never be poor unless he chooses to be. Yogi can never be poor. Look at Sadhguruji. He has his own charter planes. Look at Shri Shri. Look at any yogi. They live a life with abundance. So when I ask you, the alignments include money into it. And it's all right. It's all right. Don't get conditioned with the ideas which people have imposed on you. So you should think in a certain way. A yogi lives life differently. खुल के जीना जिसको हम बोलते हैं. इंग्लिश में कैसे बोलेंगे इसको? खुल के जीना. मतलब you live your life with absolute freedom. And that comes once you understand what is yoga. and what you are aligned with. So now if you're aligned with mathematics, you will decode mathematics better than somebody else. And you will be probably the top pick from your college by the top companies of the world. So a yogi is not only the one who is wearing certain colored clothes. He is not the one who is sitting in Himalayas. That fellow can be sitting in the chair in his office and doing all his office work. So when I talk about alignment, you should also include some materialistic things in it. You are not running behind them. That's a different idea. That is a different thing. But everybody needs money. Even a yogi needs to eat something till he reaches the level where he can only live on oxygen. Till that time, he also needs some money for satiety. So you can add a lot of other points to this slide with your choice. You need alignment in your relationships. You need alignment with your health. You need money for sure. You need different aspects of life. There are people who think career, purpose of life. Okay, purpose of life is also one thing that you have to think of. But don't get too much engrossed into it. Enjoy your life. Okay, so lack of alignment leads to friction. Simple. And this is the best image I could find online. So if you are moving against the structures, you're going to have more friction. You're going to have more friction if you move against the structures and you move with the grooves which are there, things become easier. So the idea of correct alignment is all about reducing friction. That's it. Now, in this alignment, let's talk about relationships. Something that everybody, faces. Be it your boss, be it your family member, be it your neighbor or anybody. So when we talk about frictionless relationship, how does that happen? So first thing you need to do is have a bird's eye view what is going on actually. A bird's eye view is the first thing. Without having a bird's eye view, you can't do it. You have to look at the maze from the top. You have to look at the maze from the top. You have to look at the maze from the top. And then you can see the way out from that maze. Without that, it is absolutely difficult to get out of that maze. It will only be luck if you're able to do it. So doing yoga gives you bird's eye view. How does it happen? We'll just talk about it. This PPT is not about, this talk is not just about some heavy words. It's about the practical things that we can actually learn and apply. So first thing that you need to do is bird's eye view, and then see where this friction is happening, and is it because of the conditionings that I have in my mind? Where do you find conditionings in your life? So I want some answers in the chat box again. Where do you find conditionings in your life? I give you some examples. In India, we have to drive on the left side of the road. That's a conditioning. If you'll drive on the right side, you'll get a bill. So we are conditioned to drive on a certain lane, which is very good. I'm not saying break these conditionings. I'm asking you to identify these conditionings. Dealing with people, yes. Dealing with people in what way? For example, you have a guest at home. What do we do as the first thing? We offer water. We are conditioned. Somebody has come from outside, offer water or offer something that the fellow would like to have at that time. So that is conditioning. If somebody comes in, serve water. That is one conditioning. Can there be more conditionings that you can identify. Belief on our ancestors, yes. I ask you a very simple question. Food, don't talk to strangers, yes, very correct. Don't talk to strangers is a conditioning. So those whom I have given the answer, please don't reply in the chat box. I want this answer to come from others. Earth is round or Earth is flat? Think of the answer in your head. If you want to write, okay. If you don't want to write, it's okay. Earth is round or Earth is flat? Guys should not cry. Yes, boys don't cry. Males are tough. No. Correct. About food habits. Oil is so bad. Fat is so bad. Ooh. Yes, so Earth is round is the answer going on in almost everyone's mind. Have you ever seen the Earth round? Answer it to yourself. Have you ever seen the Earth round? Rich is the one who has money. Yeah, absolutely. How to behave like a girl? Yes. One can't argue with their elders? Yes. Break nahi karni hai kuch conditionings. You're not supposed to break down a few conditionings there. I'm only asking you to identify the conditionings. Only identify. Some of the conditionings are very good. Very, very good. They are needed for the betterment of the society. Otherwise, everybody will start jumping the red lights from tomorrow. We don't want to do that. We want you to identify how you're conditioned to think in a certain way. Earth you see every day is flat, but the answer comes out is round. Why? Because Google shows you the Earth is round. Because your globe that is available in the stationary market shows you that the Earth is round. The books that you have studied in your school shows you that the Earth is round. That is why you are giving the answer that the Earth is round. Whereas you see the Earth flat every day. So it is a pure conditioning, pure conditioning. Everyone is giving the same answer, Earth is round. So you're conditioned to think in a certain way. Don't consider me one of those guys who says Earth is flat. No. I belong to the civilization that is oldest and probably the youngest in the world, which has named this subject of geography as Bhugol, which says that the Earth is goal, Bhugol. So I belong to that civilization and believe in it. So I'm not the one who says that the Earth is flat. I'm just asking you to identify the conditioning. You have never seen the Earth round, still you believe that the Earth is round. So identify the conditionings that you have. Start noting them down on a mobile notepad probably. In a month's time, you'll be able to see thousands of conditionings that you go through. And money, yoga clothes, yoga class, alignment are probably all a part of it. The more you look at the things from a bird's eye view, you will realize why you have to follow such conditionings. We all know that we are conditioned to drive on the left side of the road, which is good, and I'll do it by choice. To maintain the order in the society, I'll do it by choice. Not because of the fear of the policeman standing on the corner of the road. By choice, I'm doing it because I'm a responsible citizen. I'll do it by choice. But that comes only once you identify that this is a conditioning. You are conditioned to think in a certain way. And yogis don't live that life. They live break free. They follow all these rules because of the betterment of the society. They know the stuff, they still do it for the betterment of the mankind, of the humanity. They're not ruffians, they're not rogues, they're not against the system. They just know the system, where it is coming from, and then you follow it. If you have this understanding where the other fellow is coming from in your relationship, what is his point of view, why that fellow is saying this statement. If you are looking at it from a bird's eye view, you know the way out of that maze. and the friction goes significantly down. And you'll only be able to do it in the areas where you have the maturity to let go your conditionings. To let go your conditionings. If you are not allowing your conditionings to go away, or you are allowing them, you are only allowing them which you think are needed for the betterment of this relationship, you allow them by choice. With maturity, you allow them. With maturity, you allow them. The work is done. The friction is gone. You should not drink cold water. There's a conditioning, probably. The fellow has come from outside and he's asking for a glass of water, which is a little cold. You say, no, 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 no. You should only have water from the ghada. You should only have water from the regular, temperature water you should have. Unnecessarily creating friction. What is the point? This is only a small example in relationships. The fellow has come from outside and you say, no, 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 no. This is what my yoga teacher has said. You should not drink cold water. Creating unnecessary friction. I know a couple who has friction because the females, he said, my wife squeezes the toothpaste from the middle. Did you get the point? Because my wife presses the toothpaste from the middle and I ask her to squeeze it from the back side of it. They have friction on that. And think of a point where the point has reached to a consultant. What would be the level of frictions that couple will be having? So once you identify who has to work on it? The male or the female? Actually, both of them. You will say, no, female is the victim. No, no, no. There is no harm squeezing the toothpaste from the middle. Yes. But if she has the maturity to look at it from the top, she'll say, it's all right now. Let me do it from this. Let me do it this way. If the male has that maturity, he'll say, how does it matter? Let us squeeze it from the front, middle, or the back side. Doesn't matter. It's all okay. So if both of them have the maturity, it's a wonderful relationship. It's like win-win situation. But that is not the case. You are sitting here alone. Your spouse is not here. Your partner is not here in this session. So whom to expect the maturity from? You have to do it. It has to be you. So, and your ego will stop you from doing it because why should I do it every time? I do it anyways. Every time I am the one who is the punching bag. Again, there is no bird's eye view. Again, there is no maturity. Maturity is gone. So if one person out of the two is ready to take that bird's eye view, problem is sorted. 80% sorted. And that is very good to live your life. 80% sorted means sorted. So, how to achieve this alignment? Alignment of relationships, I'm talking about. Alignment of health, I'm talking about. Alignment of money, I'm talking about. Alignment with the purpose of your life, I'm talking about. Alignment of your career that you want to be aligned with. Alignment of anything that you want to. How to achieve it? So there are Panchakosha theory given by the Pathology, by the yogic system. So there are 5 koshas in the body. What are these 5 koshas? And the most superficial one, the one that you can see, feel, and physically feel it very often, very easily, is the Annamaya Kosh, the one which is the physical body. Then the Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya Kosh. It sounds like a wonderful philosophy. Correct? How to get through these koshas? And how are these postures going to help you in your relationships and the alignment in the yoga postures? How are these things connected? So yoga has 8 limbs. Yoga has 8 limbs. It can also be said it has 8 petals. The first one is Yama, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And people, some of the practitioners think that first you have to practice Yama, then you have to practice Niyamas. If you're following Ashtanga Yoga, if you're following Shadanga Yoga, then you start with Asanas, then Pranayama, then Pratyahara and all of that. So Samadhi will come at the end, correct? We have to attain the state of Samadhi, right? We are starting with the Asana practice. We are also doing Pranayama practice. And then we'll reach Samadhi one day. No. That is now not how it is. It is very different. It is very, very different. All 8 are happening together. All 8 are happening together. One is more dominant, the other one is more subtle. That's it. Let's say you're reading a book or you're doing a yoga posture. It's the same thing. There's no difference, actually speaking. Because to study a book, you're again sitting in a yoga posture. That posture can be a chair pose. That posture can be a sukhasana or siddhasana or whatever posture you can think of. We are reading the book. The doorbell rang and you were engrossed in the novel or in the book or in the lecture, the one you're attending now, that you missed the doorbell. You could not listen to the doorbell. That was the state of Samadhi. You were one with the subject of your choice. So it might be a smaller duration of Samadhi and longer duration of a yoga posture that you're sitting in. But missing the doorbell, not consciously missing the doorbell. It is ringing and you're, no, I'm attending a webinar. No, I can't do that. No, it happens that way. You're studying a book. It is so engrossing that you're so engrossed in it that you actually missed the first doorbell. When it rang for the second time, you realize, oh, there's the door. There is somebody at the door. That was a state of Samadhi. A small duration Samadhi. But that is what it is. So it is not something that is going to happen after you have crossed the first 7 steps. All the 8 are happening together. One is more dominant. One is more dominant. The other one is very small, subtle, and it might be happening for a fraction of a second, not even for a second. It might be coming into you for a second and then goes, then it comes and then goes. But it is happening together. So, when you try to achieve something in the Pranamaya Kosh or in the Annamaya Kosh initially, you're not only working on the Annamaya Kosh. When you eat food from Annamaya Kosh, it goes to the next Kosh and then to the next and then to the next and then to the next. That is the food for the soul. So every kosha is directly connected to each other and they are all addressed at the same time. They're all addressed at the same time. One is dominatingly addressed, but they're all addressed at the same time. So let's look at this image. This was the closest one that I wanted. And again, I got it from online. So consider this inverted pyramid as a pot. As a pot, जिसमें एक पौधा लगा रहे हैं. So if I drop some water here, consider this as a pot. So this is a pot. This is a pot. So if I drop some water here, most of it will be assimilated here in this layer. Some of it will go down. Lesser of it will go down further. Very little part of it will come here, and probably it will only touch this area, and you will not find any significant water in the last layer. But it definitely nourishes the bottom of the pot also. And that might not be the physical aspect of the water that is reaching down. The water might only reach to this level. The next two layers will still feel the cooling effect of the layers which are now having water in the top. So the effect will not be physical every time. The physical layer of water, the physical water has only reached to the third level probably. But the next two levels will also feel the cooling effect of water in the above three layers. So it is not only the physical thing that reaches there, it is the effect of it. So the effect of doing the postures reaches to every level of your being. So it is not only the Annamaya Kosh that you address, you actually address all the 5 koshas together. All the 8 limbs of yoga are happening together. They are not one by one. So Annamaya Kosh, so the lot of content is there on this slide. Let's talk about this one, the physical body, which talks about the Annamaya Kosh. And what are the benefits you are going to expect from the Annamaya Kosh? What would be your simple answer to this? What do you think would be the simple answer to this? If we are talking about the physical body, the benefits are going to be more or less gross physical. So health is the first one. You'll have better skin. You'll have better glowing hair. You can have a better posture. You can have a better functioning liver. Your knees will be stronger. In totality, kind of physical health is what we are talking about here. But that is a major part of it. And if you have a stronger knee joint, if you have a stronger liver, if you have a heart that pumps absolutely perfect, what will be the effect of it? Are you going to live long, or are you going to pass away quickly? So longevity is the second aspect of it that comes as a byproduct of focusing on yoga postures. And one of my favorite talks is how to stay fit for 100 years. We conduct this talk very frequently, how to stay fit for 100 years. So whenever you have time, come and join that talk. That is a wonderful talk and an amazing one. And it's not about philosophies. By this time, you would have understood that it's not about philosophy that we talk here at Medical Yoga Center. We talk about the practical application of Bhagavad Gita. We talk about the practical application of the Yoga Sutras. We talk about the practical aspects of whatever text we have in your routine life. So when we talk about these koshas and when we talk about Annamaya Kosh, the second effect would be longevity that we'll get. Youthfulness, obviously youthfulness. How many years do you want to live for? The answer would be 80, 85, 75, 90, or the standard answer would be as long as I'm able to do all my activities at home. That's the standard answer we get every time. So if I say you will not be physically dependent on anybody, now tell me how many years you want to live for. You'll say, oh, then probably I can think of living for 100 or maybe more years because I'm able to do all the things at home. So what is needed to live for 100 years? A healthy knee joint, a healthy heart, normal functioning of the lungs is what you need. Correct body posture, so the degeneration of the disc reduces. That is what you need. So there are 3 aspects to it: ahar, vihar, and vichar, your diet, your activities, and your thoughts. So at the moment, we're talking about the physical aspect of it, the 1/3 aspect of living for 100 years. So these aspects are very well taken care in a yoga class, all the three actually. But here we are only talking about the alignment, so we are only talking about the activity part of it, the physical part of it. So you are meant to live for 100 years for sure. So to keep your knee in perfect alignment, you should take care of the alignment in warrior pose. Otherwise, your knee will start degenerating faster. So the correct alignment is definitely needed, and it is not only for the knee joint, it is also for your mental health. If the knee starts eroding, if the knee cartilage starts eroding, you will start feeling, I have become handicapped. I don't want to live for long. I'm confined to a specific space. So if we address the Annamaya Kosh appropriately, your longevity improves, your youthfulness remains with you, your health comes to you. And what is the way to address this Annamaya Kosh? Is through yoga postures, yoga asanas. Fasting, elemental purifications are okay, but the major part of it is through yoga asanas. Now, when we talk about yoga asanas, are we talking about the yoga postures like tree pose, in which you learn the alignment? Or we talk about the triangle pose, trikonasana? Which posture we're talking about? So we are probably talking about all the postures, and the best one is Shavasana. Shavasana mein alignment. How do you do that? How do you identify the alignment in Shavasana? And how do you correct it? Alignment in Shavasana. And I'm not talking about the mental alignment, please. I'm not talking about your breath there. I'm talking about the physical alignment. Very much the physical alignment. So when you are conducting a yoga class, let's say you're a yoga teacher and you're conducting a yoga class, or you're a yoga practitioner, but I want you to get up and look at your fellows who are doing Shavasana at the end of the yoga class. So you sit in the corner and see their body alignment. And you'll realize their right hand is going at 90 degrees out and left hand is going out at 85 degrees. So there is lack of alignment of 5 degrees between the right and left hand. When you lie down in Shavasana, you'll realize that one side of your back touches the floor, the other side of the back is not taking enough weight. One side of the bump is a little bigger in size because you have been using right gluteus muscle more than the left side. So the left one is not taking enough contact with the floor. So there is alignment in Shavasana also, and that is probably the best one to correct your alignment and identify your body differences. Can also be done in Virabhadrasana, can also be done in Trikonasana, can also be done in Vrikshasana, for sure. All those postures are very good, and you can learn alignment in any yoga posture. But there is one more thing. Coming back to the slide of what Swami Vivekananda said. He said, if you want to learn the football, come to the football ground. If you want to learn the Gitas, come to the football ground. Can we put it differently and say, if you want to learn the alignment, come to the office sitting in a car? How? Come to the office sitting in your car. Isn't it the same statement? If you want to learn the Vedas, come to the football ground. Same thing applies. If you want to learn the alignment, come to the office sitting in a car. How? How do you learn alignment there? When you're sitting, you'll realize that one side of the hip is taking more weight and the other side of the hip is not taking enough weight. Do this practice tomorrow when you go to the office. It's all about awareness. So he doesn't mean that you should be a good football goalkeeper, or you should be a good football player. What he wants you to understand there is what is there in the play, what is there in the game. So when you're reaching from your home to your office, how do you sit in the car? Which side of the pelvis is taking more weight? Check. When you keep your legs on the brake and the clutch pedal, how do you keep your right leg? Do you keep your right leg rotated out and left is relatively straight? How your back touches the backrest? When you reach office, how centered you are when you're doing your work? How focused you are? Are you in a state of pratyahar? Are you in a state of dhyana? Are you, or you are just jumbling things together in your office place? When you're focused, you know the results are good. You know that. In all spheres of your life, wherever you have seen results, they are only because of focus. Check where have you got the results. Check for yourself. I'm asking you this question, answer this to yourself. Where in your life you have found results? Let's say in your class 10th, you scored good because you focused on your studies firmly. And then you tried to become a good archery player. And because of regular practice and focusing on what you want, you achieved it. Might not be a bang 10-pointer, but maybe from 0 you have gone to 8. And that is because of your focus. A very wonderful story is coming to my mind. Allow me to share it. That is about focus. That is about your practice. There was an archery guy shooting arrows one by one, bang, bullseye, 10 on 10, 10 on 10 every time. And public was standing around him and they were all clapping. What a wonderful archery guy this is. Means he's such a wonderful player. Means, wow, he has exceptional skills. And there was a fellow standing behind and said, it's just a matter of practice. This archery guy felt a little offended. He said, can you do this? Come here and do this. Take this bow and arrow and do it. Let me see how good you are. You are undermining my skill by saying it's just a matter of practice. He said, no, I can't do this. He said, then why are you undermining my skill? Said, no, I'm not undermining your skills. I'm just saying it's a matter of practice. I'm not able to do it because I don't practice this. I sell oil. I can pour oil in a bottle and the mouth of that bottle is very, very thin, but I can pour that oil without spilling a drop of oil out of it. See how I do it? So, and not even one drop of water spilled. He said, okay, so Mr. Archery guy, can you do this? He said, no, I can't do this. If I do it, it will spill all over. So it is a matter of practice. It is a matter of practice. So you become what you practice. So what do you want to practice in your life? What do you want to practice in your life? If you want to complain, you can be a master of complaining, I'm telling you. You can find complaints in everything. Everything. You can find complaints in everything. If you want to practice cheat and deceit, you'll be an expert on it. Practice it and you'll be an expert. What do you want to practice? compassion, love, care. What do you want to practice? It's a matter of your choice again. It's a matter of your focus again. Focus. The subject of your choice. And it can be anything. If you're a wonderful mother, if you're an excellent wife, you are a yogini of that particular vertical. You do it so well. When you practice yoga postures, is it very easy on the day one? Some of you might have fallen in Vrikshasana, but have you given it up? So the same way when you practice relationships, the same way when you practice any target, you might fall at times. It's all right. It's all right. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the practice. It's part of your practice. So you decide what do you want to practice in life. And how this practice happens. And for this, you need not go to the Himalayas. You can simply do it in a yoga class. So doing meditation in office, doing your work is meditation. Doing your work with focus is meditation, simple. Or doing it on a yoga mat in a yoga class is the same thing. It is the same thing. The only idea is that we are teaching you how to be focused, how to stay aligned. So you actually apply that alignment in your 24 hours of your life. It is not something to be practiced for an hour a day. And that is the biggest drawback on focusing on alignment. There are some schools which strongly promote alignment, everywhere alignment. And I got a case a few years ago, and that senior yoga teacher, practitioner, she was doing it from 8 years. And she said, sir, I want to join your yoga center or medical yoga center because I want to learn twistings. Is that the only purpose of joining the classes here? Yes, sir, I want to take one-on-one classes and I want to learn twisting. That was a very interesting reason for joining the class. Only twisting. Well, yes, only twisting. And I've been doing twisting from 8 years, but I'm not able to achieve it. My teacher says that I'm not able to do it. So I want to learn it and achieve this, this twisting. So what happened to the case is a different story. But that is the drawback. You're too much focused on alignment. You're missing the fun of twisting. You're missing the fun of twisting. Too much alignment, too much alignment, too much alignment, too much alignment. What is good, you have to practice. Too much of it. Keep it a little balanced. Try to maintain 90 degrees when you do Virabhadrasana. If it is 89, it's okay. If it's 88, it's okay. Even if it goes to 91, try not to go, but still it's okay. Do not get into too much of the alignment in a yoga class. Do what your teacher is saying, try to achieve it, but don't start taking negative impact of it. I'm not able to do it. This is not happening that way. Again, some kind of conditioning is happening there. Break that. Don't allow that to happen to you. So, if you want to learn the alignment of the body, mind, and soul, come to the office sitting in a car. And we'll start learning the alignment of the body, mind, and soul, or we can say yoga, because you will be sitting in an asana in the car. And when you're aware of that asana, how you're doing, what you're doing. And one more thing, your pelvis might be a little forward and backward. It's not only up and down, it might be a little forward and backward, because when you push the brake and clutch pedal, your pelvis moves a little front and back. So see, when you get out of the car, how do you keep your feet? Is your right foot rotated more outwards when you stand regularly when you're out of the car? Is it your pelvis that is rotated a little forward, or is it a little up? That is alignment, and that you can easily understand sitting in your office chair. You start learning it in a yoga class for sure. So alignment in a yoga class can be learned in Vrikshasana, Trikonasana, or Shavasana. That's up to you. Cons of alignment we have already discussed. And alignment in a yoga class is absolutely important. Absolutely important. But please make sure it doesn't go and sit on your head. Achieve it. Why? When you achieve that alignment in the yoga class, you understand the Annamaya course, you understand the eversion of the foot, you understand the working of the peroneus longus muscle, or you understand the working of the outer leg muscles in the lower leg. You understand how your foot rotates inwards when you rotate your foot in Trikonasana, how the movement takes place at the hip joint. That awareness starts from the Annamaya course, but it goes all the 5 layers down with every movement that you do in the yoga postures. So that is only the beginning of a larger picture. So yoga class is one of the places where you can learn to align your physical body grossly, but actually it is taking all the layers down in the effect. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening to this topic so carefully. And now let's take some questions. So for those who have kept the videos on all the time, they are the rightful, students to ask the questions first. Correct? Because I could only make eye contact with those guys. so first option goes to Limaya, Ritu, Mukund, Dr. Radha, Chandan. And then it's open to everyone. So if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask. And obviously Shivani. If there are no questions, I'll throw questions for you. You have to answer them. So it is not one-side communication. It is not something that you came, listened, you started clapping, it was a wonderful session, and you went back and it's gone missing. No, that's not allowed. We'll apply it practically in our lifetime. And the alignment is of every sphere. It can reduce friction in every sphere of your life, starting from a yoga class, but going and touching every aspect of your life. So let us start now, please. So no questions from Limya, nothing from Ritu, nothing from Mukund, Radha, and Chandan. So should we make it open for everyone? And Shivani?
Sir, I would say that this is an interactive class. So let's make it open for everyone. And in the meantime, if Dr. Radha, Vasanta, Laima, and the other people, Chandan, Ritu, if they get the questions, then we can attend them as well.
Yes. So it's open to everyone. Please, either you can unmute yourself, or okay, instead of unmuting, please raise your hand and I'll ask you to unmute one by one. So there is no overlapping of audios there. Right? I'm also opening the chat box if there are any questions there. No questions to ask, Radhaji. Thank you. Please explain something on dorsiflexion, right spotting. हाँ, बड़े सारे लोग तो इसलिए आएंगे कि alignment सिखाई जाएगी इस क्लास में, है ना? So Gaurav, yes, alignment in dorsiflexion is important. So we at Medical Yoga Center call it dorsiflexion instead of calling it dorsiflexion, because this is the combination of dorsiflexion and eversion. So my suggestion to you would be, please study tibialis posterior muscle along with peroneus longus and the weight distribution of the arcs on the foot. And that will give you much clarity on this topic of how we maintain dorsiflexion and squatting, how it goes there. But let's, or probably we can go into detail of this question or these musculoskeletal alignment questions towards the end of this program. Whatever we have discussed so far, let's take some questions on that. Next question is Limaya saying, thank you. Very nice to meet you, Limaya. How to take care of the knees to avoid knee replacement. Can we do squats and lunges? No. आप लगेगा ऐसा काम करें. Can't do this. To avoid knee replacement, you want to do squats. Okay, so just 1 second before I come to Sarita and Ritu. Why squats are recommended? Because it helps in quadricep muscle strengthening. So the idea is quadricep strengthening. So quadricep strengthening on the cost of the knee joint is not a good idea. So quadricep strengthening is needed because it offloads the weight from the bones to the muscles. So if your quadricep is strong, it will transfer some of the weight from patella to the tibia and the knee joint will be spared. Some part, the major weight bearing part, will have lesser load. And that is why quadricep strengthening is recommended. But that can be done in different postures. Why to get into squats? You can do it in different postures where you are not compromising the cartilage of the knee. Knee cartilage is eroded because of the postures like squats, lunges, burpees, running on cross trainers, treadmills. That is the reason for erosion of the cartilage. And to strengthen quadriceps, if you start using the same exercises, that is going to take a lot of toll on your cartilage further. So you can do Supta Padangusthasana for 60 seconds, 3 repetitions, 3 times a day. You can do knee strengthening. So we have different versions of saying the therapeutic postures, knee strengthening 3, 4, 2 are different variations that we use here for strengthening of the quadriceps without straining the knee cartilage. So in one word, the answer is no, you should not do lunges or squats for strengthening of the knee joint. It will fasten up the process of knee replacement. No, it's a strict no. If you need any help, you can send your X-rays, X-ray means X-ray films, on the WhatsApp. And I'm typing my number here in the chat box. Only for WhatsApp messages. If you'll call will go missed and expect a reply in 48 hours. Right. So use it only on WhatsApp. WhatsApp message, that's it. So send me your X-rays. I'll tell you if what we can do for you, or if there is a therapist who has taken training here with me is available nearby to your place. So probably that therapist can visit you, or you can visit that therapist and you can get your sequence done. Thank you, Janeb, for these wonderful words. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you. Mukund, how is anxiety related to our body? Okay. Thank you for the amazing session. Thank you, Meena. Himani, and please stop posting questions here now in the chat box and I'll take up the hand raises which are here. So Himani is saying how to practice alignment of body in pregnancy. Is there any particular key points should be taken care of? So pregnancy ke liye, no, talking here on the online about alignment will be a little, so it is something that has to be talked about in person, but when it comes to the alignment, so pregnancy and alignment. So what goes out of alignment in pregnancy? Nothing. If your kamar has to become deep, it has to become deep. That is normal in pregnancy. That is not out of alignment. If the tummy is growing and the lower back is getting deeper in the arc is getting deeper, that's normal. That is not out of alignment. If you're not able to keep your feet parallel to each other because the tummy is growing and your feet rotate laterally, that is normal in pregnancy. We'll not call it out of alignment. That's normal. If you feel some pressure on the lower back in pregnancy, that's normal. We'll not call it a problem. We'll not call it out of alignment. Enjoy the pregnancy without these conditionings. Definitely listen and respond to the signals of your body. सब लोग ना लिख लो इसको अपने पास में, तख्ती टांग दो अपने घर में. So note this down, everybody, in bold letters. Listen and respond to the signals of your body. If you listen and respond to the signals of your body, problems cannot set in. Problems cannot get into your body. You're in pregnancy and your body gives you certain signals. आज chocolate खाने का मन है, उसने जाके जरूर खा लेना. आज गोलगप्पे खाने का मन है. Go and have it, because your brain knows I need this particular salt, and that salt I last had in those golgappas. So your brain is only interpreting that particular salt as a golgappa. Have it, keeping sanyam on your taste buds. 2 से satiety हो जाएगी, 3 से satiety हो जाएगी. Don't eat too much of them. So listen and respond to the signals of your body, be it about your lower back, be it about your hip joint, be it about the postural changes which are taking place in the body. They are all normal, but we have to keep them within limits. Now, what is the limit? That is very customized. So we have to understand whether your shoulders are started drooping forward, or because of your feet rotating outwards, you are getting some pain in the right leg or left leg, like sciatic pain. We call it piriformis, particularly in the pregnancy. So that we can address, but that is customized. So instead of saying something here about pregnancy and alignment, I would say, if there is no pain, the alignment is not going out, it is normal. Once the delivery is done, the body gets back to its normal shape, the alignment will be restored to what it is now. So both are normal. Just make sure if body is giving you a signal of pain, discomfort, that has to be addressed. And that is different for every pregnant woman. So we can talk about it. So message on WhatsApp. Ji. So coming to the question. Sarita, Ritu ne haath hi niche kar liya. Yes. Ritu. Okay. So you're on the screen first. Please ask a question.
Good morning, sir. So good to listen to you after so long. I really missed it. First of all, I just want to say this. Secondly, whenever I'm leveling up with my practices, I end up hurting my left side of the body always. We
Left
all know
knee joint in particular, or left side of the body?
left side, as in first, when I had first injury, I had fallen from the stairs. I ended up hurting my left knee and left side of my back. Now, after starting yoga, whenever I started a little bit of skipping and added more running and shuffling, and I ended up hurting my left heel. Then I started with hand balancing. Again, I ended up hurting my left wrist very badly this time. So I've developed this thinking that yes, my left side is extremely weaker than as compared to my right side. But it's like.
So why did this happen? Body का signal नहीं सुना होगा ना ऋतु. Body ने बोला होगा left hand is not as strong as the right. We are not going into the debate why left is weak and why we are accepting that it is weak. But if it is a little weak, let's accept it. And we'll start treating it at a different level. But if your hands doesn't have that equal strength, it is not something that will show up only in handstand. It will show up in Chaturanga also.
Yeah, true.
It will show up when you do Supta Padangusthasana with belts. Your one hand will get tired quickly. When you're doing twisting, your one arm will get numb. It will start giving you signals that I'm not as strong as the other side is. Why was that not addressed before the injury occurred? Question कहां से आया शीर्षासन में हैंडस्टैंड में जाने का? हो ही नहीं सकता. So signals of the body are probably overlooked, and that is why it has set in. Now, because it is an injury and that has to be addressed specifically to your body, that now we need the X-rays, the MRIs, the scans, and we need to understand your condition in detail. So now it has become a medical thing that has to be assessed. So that answer can only be given once I know the case completely. But why did this happen? Has to be identified. It might be possible that the left knee, the left hip, the left lower back, the left shoulder might be weak. We have to identify why these things are weak, and is it because of the overuse of a right side? So left is not weak, right has become stronger. That can also be a possibility because you're a right-handed person, you ride from your right hand. You drive a car, which is an automatic car that doesn't use your left foot and only use your right foot. Might be because you are a consultant and turn to the right side every time to attend to the patients. It can be anything. So you have probably trained your right side move, and left hence looks weak. It is not really weak. It might be weak. So that is a case that we have to understand. But this is something that we very commonly see. Now, this is for everybody, not only for Ritu. We see a lot of people who come in and say, sir, I always get problem on one side of the body. When it hurts only on the one side of the body. It is a common complaint which people come and tell us about. If that reason is identified, if the reason is identified, good, that is treated. If it is not identified, then start strengthening the side which you think is weaker. And strengthening is only secondary to stretchings. First level of strength you will attain when you do stretchings. Because when you stretch, blood circulation improves, nutritional supply to the muscle improves, and the muscle itself becomes stronger. Then you want extra strength because there is some imbalance still left even after stretchings. Then you have to do some strengthening of that side of the body. And to do that, you must understand some of the muscles which are more important, especially around the knee, hip, and shoulder. So if you understand anatomy, you will be able to do it better. Otherwise, simply start doing stretching and then strengthening of the left side of your body. And if there is anything specific that you want to talk about, message me on WhatsApp with the case study. X-ray says this, MRI says this, with the films of the X-ray and MRIs. Yes, Sarita Singh.
Sir, hello, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.
So I have a question related to awareness when you were talking about the car thing, right and left side of the body. And you said that we need to be aware of whatever we are doing, right? And what we feel. So I have a question related to this awareness. Can awareness cause overthinking, or can awareness make a person overconscious? Because sometimes when we are so much
alignment
aware
will
of,
lead to some cons. If alignment has some drawbacks,
so I'm not just talking about
same can be
alignment.
not awareness is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. But because when the person is very much aware about everything, at a certain point of time, they start overthinking. So, for example, if I know that eating good, we should eat healthy food or good food all the time. But sometimes we start overthinking about that. We start getting conscious whenever we eat something which is not maybe so healthy. We start getting an anxiety, and we start getting so these things, I mean, it happened with me sometimes.
Okay, so
that's
let me give you another example to this. Thank you for asking this question. Excess of everything is bad.
Yeah.
If you'll go online and you start studying the effect of drinking excessive water, you will find that people have died because of drinking excessive water. Deaths have occurred because of excessive drinking of water. If water, which is amrit, उसकी वजह से ऐसा हो सकता है. Everything can create problem if it is out of proportion. Be it sitting in Padmasana for hours together, it can reduce the medial compartment of the knee joint. It's a wonderful posture, helps you elevate your kundalini. But if you sit in it for long hours, can reduce the medial compartment of the liver. If you eat very, very healthy food, very healthy food, absolutely healthy means untouched, healthy, you will not get any bacteria or germs into your body. It will create a different problem altogether. It can create a different problem altogether. You are living in this world. And if you live too hygienically, your body will not be able to fight back the bacteria load when it will come one day. What is the polio drops? What are the polio drops? Do you know? Polio drops are the virus of polio. जो छोटे बच्चों को देते हैं. They're actually giving you the virus, the kids. And then they say, now you're immune to polio. Why? Because now body has got a foreign thing which was not needed in the body, which was harmful to the body. But our body developed a defense against it. And if this virus attacks again in the lifetime, our body knows how to fight it back. So, thoda sa unhygienic khana is okay. गोलगप्पे खाना, जिस भाई का पसीना उसमें गिर रहा हो, is okay once in a while, is all right, doesn't matter much. Actually, doesn't matter much. कभी-कभी unhygienic खाना is okay. When I say कभी-कभी, उसकी परिभाषा once in a week नहीं है. So it doesn't mean once in a week. Can be once in 3 months, once in 6 months. So going too hygienic is a bad idea. It's not a good idea. You live in an organic world. You live in an organic world. So ati nahi karni. Don't go too much behind it. So that is what leads to this overthinking. So that is the side effect. This is the side effect of overthinking. Too much hygienic food, too much of this, too much of alignment. You don't want too much of anything in your life. Yoga is all about balancing. It's all about balancing. Ida and Pingla. Balancing the right and left. Surya and Chandra. Sun and the moon. Balancing the two sides. Anulom Vilom, balancing the two sides. It's all about balancing. It's all about balancing. So, ati nahi karna. Anyone who has done excess of anything, that is bad. And that is why when we talk about yogis, we only consider spiritual yogis to be on the top of it, because others have probably done extremes of other things. Materialism, extreme. Designing, extreme. Share markets, extreme. So the moment you go to the extreme and you go out of balance, that is not needed. But you know how to focus. Focusing is different. Going extremes is different. So you focus and you generate results. So ज़्यादा food hygiene, ज़्यादा phala hygiene and hygiene is medically not a very good idea. You will also know, do you get some guests from overseas ever, from the Western world? They'll come here and if they'll start drinking the water that you drink, they might not be able to digest it. Why? They live in a very hygienic environment. You live in a relatively low hygienic environment. There will be another strata of the society that lives in a further lesser hygienic environment. So there is no end to this race. So my suggestion would be, enjoy golgappas once in a while is all right. So that means don't run behind too much hygiene. Whether it is about food, whether it is about yoga posture alignment, be it about chasing a goal, be it about finding the purpose of your life, be it anything. Focus is different. Yes. So I think we are almost there. Time is kind of getting up. Any more questions? We can probably take one more question and then we'll go on and enjoy our Sunday activities ahead in the day. Means the next event which is lined up at 3 o'clock. So, okay, so I have a question for all of you. How many of you are able to achieve your New Year resolutions? हर बार हो जाता है sir, we are able to do it every year. Whatever we decide, we are able to do it. क्यों नहीं होता पता? Why you're not able to achieve it? Okay, so this yoga day, if you'll take a resolution.
सर मैंने तो कुछ बनाया ही नहीं था.
टारगेट ही लो कर दिया ना पूरे.
टारगेट लो नहीं किया सर. पिछले साल के बहुत सारे पड़े हुए थे.
So what Puneet is saying is that he already have a lot of baggage of last year's so-called New Year resolutions. So he's not making any new ones anymore. Okay. So इस साल योगा डे पे कोई रेजोल्यूशन मत लेना. ऐसे ही कोई फायदा नहीं. पूरे तो करते नहीं. Bilkul, don't take the resolution of doing yoga every day. Do not take the resolution of attending some health-oriented webinars like this. Do not take any resolution of doing something healthy. Don't do that. करते तो हो नहीं. So क्यों अपनी नजरों में गिरना चाहते हैं? See, Puneet, he's saying I have a lot of baggage of so many old documents. Why do you do it? But my suggestion is start practicing one thing. And this one thing is a key to manifest things. हमारे यहाँ एक कहावत है, ज़ुबान काली है. कहावत नहीं, saying है. There is a saying, if you have a black tongue, so you have ज़ुबान काली. जो बोलता है हो जाता है. Whatever you say happens. How does that happen? आप लोग जो बोलते हो पूरा ही नहीं होता, उल्टा हो गया तो whatever resolution you take, it doesn't complete. It is never taken to its conclusion. Because you don't value your words. You say your words loosely. Loosely. Just like that. Loosely. If you start choosing your words wisely. Wise is not the right word, probably. I'll change this word with appropriately. Appropriate is the correct word for this. All your New Year resolutions will come true. All your International Yoga Day resolutions will come true. And if you become a master of it, everything that you say will become true. Zuban kali ho jayegi. So start using your words appropriately. If you want to call, if you want to say that, let's talk about government. So the government is not doing anything. You know, this government is a very time pass government. They're not doing anything. So instead of saying they're not doing anything, you can say they're not doing enough for this particular field. Instead of using the words loosely that the government is not doing anything, you can say this government is probably not working enough on this particular aspect. They need to focus more on this aspect. Same thing you are saying, but the second statement has more value. It has more power. I don't like red colors. I don't like red color. Instead of saying that, I prefer blue over red. I prefer white over red. Or maybe some shades of red I'm okay with. Where else do you make loose statements? Share market is risky. It's a loose statement. So share market So share market needs a lot of caution. Where else do you exaggerate things? I'll never talk to you in my lifetime again. And you know you are going to talk to that fellow again after some time. So you have to eat your words. Why making loose statements? So start using your words appropriately for that particular situation. That's it. That is about awareness of your words that will connect your Annamaya to Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya ultimately. Start using your words appropriately. That's it. All my hair have turned gray. No. Some hair have turned gray because some are still black. So it is an exaggeration that you're telling me. You're exaggerating that all hair have turned gray. They've not turned gray. Some of them have turned gray. I'm only asking you to use appropriate words. Is that a big ask from all of you? Can you take this resolution? And this is the easiest one I'm telling you, but a demanding one. If you practice this, every New Year, every International Yoga Day resolution will come true for sure. Because you only say the appropriate things. You'll not say, I'll do yoga every day morning 5 o'clock. No. You'll say, I'll do once in a week yoga on 40 Sundays this year at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that resolution will come true for sure. So this year, I am giving you a task. It is not a resolution. I'm giving you a task. Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I give you a task? The only task is to use your words appropriately. Appropriate to that situation. क्या आपने वही कहा जो आप कहना चाहते थे? शब्दों की बड़ी खास बात है. आप सोचते हो कुछ, बोलते हो कुछ, अगला सुनता है कुछ और समझता है कुछ. So 4 जगह पे breakdown हो सकता है. So breakdown can happen at 4 levels. What you think and what you speak. What you speak and what the other person listens. What he listened, does he comprehend it the correct way, the way you said it? And that breakdown can be mitigated if you start using appropriate words. Appropriate is appropriate. Correct? All right. Thank you very much.